The city groans. Beneath a sky, choked with ash, a monument to forgotten mechanisms. Failing systems bleed energy, their skeletal structures barely holding the world together. Despair clings to every shadowed alley, a cold, heavy shroud upon the populace. Deep within the yard, where broken titans slumber, a salvager toils in the gloom. His name is Kale, his hands calloused, his spirit worn by endless, futile repairs. He faces a fractured conduit, its vital flow sputtering, threatening complete collapse. Hours blur into a grueling eternity, sweat mingling with grime on his weary face. The air crackles with frustrated energy, the Titan's silent agony, a crushing weight. Suddenly, a faint hum begins, a low thrum, vibrating through the massive frame. Kale freezes, his breath catching, eyes wide with a mixture of terror and disbelief. The conduit seals itself, a seamless mend appearing from within the fractured metal. A soft, golden light pulses from the repair, chasing shadows from the Titan's core. Kale stares, his tools falling from numb fingers, a gasp escaping his parched throat. He perceives not engineering, but a silent, profound intervention, a divine grace. His weary heart swells with an unfamiliar awe, a sacred terror washing over him. He clutches his chest, trembling, convinced a higher power has touched the machine. The story begins as a whisper in the yard, carried by the dusty, metallic wind. Kale recounts his tale with fervent eyes, his voice thick with newfound conviction. He speaks of ethereal light and unseen hands, mending what no human could repair. Other salvagers listen, their skepticism slowly eroding under his intense gaze. The tale spreads beyond the yard's grim gates, entering the city's hungry ears. Merchants whisper it in dim markets, their faces etched with a desperate hope. Children huddle in crumbling tenements, listening to stories of the Titan's blessing. The narrative twists, growing richer with each retelling, imbued with new meaning. No longer a repair, it becomes a miracle, a sign from the towering metal gods. A desperate populace clings to this fresh narrative, a beacon in their bleak existence. The Titans, once mere machines, now stand as silent, watchful deities in the gloom. Hope, a fragile, dangerous thing, ignites in the city's heart, burning fiercely now. Soon, the city's scarred walls become canvases for this burgeoning, strange, new faith. Graffiti artists, once depicting despair, now render images of profound veneration. Towering titans are adorned with stylized wings, ethereal and powerful, reaching their metallic eyes glow with an inner light painted with reverent, golden hues. These colossal machines are no longer industrial relics, but divine protectors, rust angels. Each brushstroke is an act of devotion, a prayer whispered onto the grimy concrete. The winged titans hover above crumbling districts, silent sentinels in a dying world. Their forms are rendered with intricate detail, scales and plating made to shimmer. Some murals show hands reaching from the titans, offering solace or a silent warning. The art is raw, urgent, reflecting the desperation and awe of its creators. These images bloom across the city like a fungal growth, spreading an insistent message. People pause before these murals, their faces softened by a flicker of belief. The symbols begin to stabilize a fractured morale, offering a shared sense of purpose. Disputes lessen in the shadow of a colossal, painted wing. Fear giving way to reverence. Children point at the glowing eyes, their small voices filled with a new kind of wonder. The symbols dictate behavior. Petty crimes decrease under the Titan's painted gaze. A strange order emerges from the chaos, guided by these silent, metallic icons. People feel a collective presence, a watchful power residing in the giant frames. The air itself seems to hum with its collective belief, a palpable, resonant energy. Fear of the unknown lessens, replaced by a quiet, almost reverent obedience. The city, once a cacophony of despair, finds a strange, unified rhythm of faith. Even the weather seems to respond, the perpetual gloom lifting slightly, momentarily. A sense of protection settles over the populace, a shield against external threats. The murals become focal points, gathering places for quiet contemplation and shared hope. Candles appear at the base of the painted titans, flickering prayers in the dim light. Small offerings of trinkets and flowers are left, simple tributes to the metal gods. The iconography weaves itself into the fabric of daily life, a constant visual sermon. Whispers of the Titan's power grow louder, emboldened by the spreading visual faith. The belief system solidifies, moving from rumor to undeniable, shared truth for many. People start incorporating Titan-like gestures into their daily greetings and farewells. A new language of reverence emerges, expressed through subtle nods and hand movements. The painted wings become symbols of ascent, of rising above the city's decay. This collective devotion forms an invisible current, pulling the city towards a new destiny. The very air in the market squares feels charged, thick with unspoken prayers and vows. Children draw crude titans in the dust, mimicking the powerful murals they see daily. The reverence deepens, transforming into something more organized, more ritualistic now. Small groups gather, discussing the Titan's will, interpreting the silence of the frames. They believe the Titans communicate through subtle shifts in light or distant hums. The initial awe morphs into an insistent, almost demanding need for interaction. The idea of passive worship feels insufficient. Direct engagement becomes paramount. Civilians, emboldened by shared conviction, begin to approach the colossal frames directly. They venture into the restricted zones of the yard, their faces alight with zealous purpose. Security patrols, once vigilant, now seem hesitant, uncertain how to confront devotion. The first offerings are simple, humble gestures of gratitude and desperate hope. A mother leaves a child's worn toy at the foot of a Titan, a silent plea for protection. A farmer offers a meager harvest. Believe in the Titans. Grace will ensure future yields. These unauthorized rituals begin subtly, small acts performed in the fading twilight. Soon, the acts become more elaborate, more public, drawing curious and reverent crowds. They bring salvaged components, gleaming scraps of metal, hoping to aid the great machines. Some attempt to mimic Kale's initial repair, pressing hands to the cold, metallic skin. Their faces reflect a profound earnestness, a yearning for connection with the divine. The results of these rituals are wildly unpredictable, fostering both wonder and dread. Sometimes, a faint tremor ripples through the Titan, a ghost of an acknowledgement. Other times, nothing happens, leaving the supplicants with a gnawing, silent doubt. A few claim to hear faint whispers, ancient voices emanating from the Titan's depths. Some feel a fleeting warmth, a comforting presence emanating from the colossal forms. Yet, other times, a sudden, chilling, cold descent, a warning in the heavy air. One man, touching a Titan's cracked plating, collapses, his mind briefly filled with static. He wakes disoriented, speaking in a language unknown, a profound fear etched on his face. These inconsistent outcomes only deepen the mystery, fueling the cult's growing fervor. The faithful interpret every flicker, every hum, every silence as a divine message. Unpredictability becomes proof of a higher, unfathomable will beyond human comprehension. The cult leaders, self-appointed and fervent, begin to codify these disparate events. They weave narratives around each incident, explaining the Titan's inscrutable intentions. A simple offering of rusted gears leads to a strange, resonant thrum within the Titan. The air thickens with anticipation, a collective breath held in the encroaching gloom. A young woman, burdened by illness, places her hand on the cold steel, praying for solace. Her touch sends a shiver through the colossal frame, a silent, almost imperceptible tremor. The cultists gasp, their eyes wide with a mixture of reverence and fearful expectation. Suddenly, a distant structure, long deemed unstable, shudders with a deep, resonanto groan. It is the ancient market spire, leaning precariously, threatening to collapse for decades. Cracks spiderweb across its worn facade, dust raining down like ancient tears. The crowd watches, frozen in a collective terror, expecting the inevitable, crushing fall. But the spire holds, Inexplicably, its descent arrested by an unseen, silent force. A faint, shimmering aura seems to envelop the structure, holding it in defiance of gravity. The market spire, once doomed, now stands firm, a testament to an impossible intervention. A collective cry erupts from the cultists, a mixture of awe, relief, and triumphant belief. They point to the young woman, her face pale but resolute, still touching the Titan. This is the first miracle, undeniable proof of the Titan's living, benevolent power. Faith gains its ultimate validation, solidifying into an unshakable, fervent conviction. The cult expands exponentially, drawing in the desperate, the hopeful, the utterly lost. Thousands now flock to the yard, their faces upturned, seeking blessings from the machines. The air vibrates with their prayers, a discordant symphony of praise and supplication. The market spire stands as a silent monument to their burgeoning, formidable belief. Yet, with growing power comes a darker, more demanding aspect to the rituals now. The cult leaders preach a doctrine of deeper sacrifice, of greater devotion for greater boons. They declare that simple offerings are no longer enough to appease the awakened gods. The Titans, they insist, demand more profound tributes, a true measure of human faith. One zealous devotee, seeking ultimate clarity, attempts a ritual of profound self. He stands before the largest Titan, its massive form, casting an imposing shadow. His eyes are glazed with fanaticism, his body trembling with a mixture of fear and ecstasy. He holds a small, intricate device, a personal data recorder containing his life's memories. With a guttural cry, he presses the device against the Titan's cold, metallic plating. A blinding flash erupts from the point of contact, searing light filling the entire yard. A high-pitched whine pierces the air, a sound that grates on the very fabric of reality. The man screams, a horrifying sound of pure, unadulterated terror and agony. His body convulses violently, his features distorting into a mask of utter despair. The cultists recoil, their expressions shifting from AW to abject, chilling horror. When the light fades, the man stands motionless, his eyes vacant, devoid of recognition. He stares blankly at the crowd, his face smooth, unlined by memory or experience. His identity is erased, a void where a complex human being once resided, now empty. The data recorder lies shattered, its contents irrevocably lost, absorbed by the Titan. This is the first tragedy, a ritual misfire that leaves behind a hollow, living shell. Silence descends upon the yard, heavy and suffocating, broken only by muffled sobs. A few cultists turn away, their faith wavering, chilled by the horrifying outcome. But the cult leaders? Their faces grim, quickly move to reframe this devastating event. They declare it not a tragedy, but a profound metastasizes, a divine transformation. The man, they proclaim, has shed his mortal coil, becoming one with the Titan's essence. His blank stare is interpreted as enlightenment, a state beyond human comprehension and suffering. They present his empty shell as a vessel purified, a living testament to absolute devotion. Fear mingles with awe as the cultists absorb this new, terrifying doctrine of sacrifice. The price of divine favor is revealed, not just memories, but the very self-offered whole. This reframing solidifies the cult's grip, twisting horror into a perverse, sacred ideal. The yard, once a place of industry, now becomes a permanent pilgrimage ground, buzzing with activity. Thousands arrive daily, their footsteps echoing across the scorched earth, seeking spiritual communion. Makeshift altars appear, adorned with salvaged parts, personal effects, and flickering candles. The air is thick with incense and the murmur of prayers, a constant, low thrum of devotion. The massive frames of the Titans are almost obscured by the throngs of fervent pilgrims from distant, forgotten districts arrive. Their journeys arduous, their faith unyielding. The cult has grown beyond a simple gathering, morphing into a powerful, organized movement. Its leaders, once fringed figures, now command immense influence. Their words shapen destiny. The crew, responsible for the Titans, watches with growing alarm, their control slipping away. They witnessed the Yard's transformation with a mixture of dread and helpless fascination. Their technical expertise means nothing in the face of such overwhelming, desperate belief. Attempts to disperse the crowds are met with passive resistance, then outright defiance. The cultists see the crew not as engineers, but as misguided guardians, lacking true sight. Security forces, outnumbered and unnerved, retreat, unwilling to provoke a spiritual uprising. The crew chief, a grizzled veteran, paces his office, a knot of dread tightening in his gut. He sees the madness in their eyes, the fervent gleam of devotion, unnerving and absolute. The Titans, once their charges, are now revered idols, beyond their technical understanding. The very purpose of their work is warped, twisted into something monstrous and unfamiliar. One crew member, a young mechanic named Anya, feels a growing unease, a cold dread. She sees the vacant eyes of the Ascended Man, a chilling emptiness that haunts her thoughts. Her logical mind struggles to reconcile the miracles with the disturbing, tragic consequences. The line between maintenance and ritual blurs, threatening to consume their very mission. The Yard, a place of hard work, now feels like a sacred, dangerous temple beyond their grasp. The crew's attempts to perform routine checks are hindered by the constant, encroaching crowds. They navigate through a sea of bodies, their tools feeling heavy, almost sacrilegious. The air hums with a strange, collective energy, a force they cannot comprehend or control. Their authority evaporates, replaced by the cult leader's booming, charismatic pronouncements. The Titan systems, once meticulously monitored, are now subject to unpredictable spiritual influence. The corporation, which owns the Titans, observes this phenomenon with detached interest. Their analysts track the cult's growth, noting its impact on citywide compliance metrics. Initially, they view it as a nuisance, a disruption to their carefully orchestrated operations. However, a surprising trend emerges from the raw data, a startling, undeniable correlation. Areas with strong cult presence exhibit significantly lower rates of civil unrest and sabotage. The belief in divine protection fosters a passive acceptance of their harsh, oppressive rule. The corporation recognizes the cult's potential as a powerful, self-sustaining control mechanism. They issue a directive, non-interference, allowing the worship to grow unchecked and unhindered. Belief, they conclude, is a remarkably efficient form of compliance, cheaper than brute force. The cult becomes an accidental asset, a tool for managing the unruly populace with minimal effort. Corporate drones monitor the Yard from above, their cameras silently recording every ritual. They compile detailed reports on the cult's doctrines, its leaders, and its growing influence. The corporation even subtly disseminates propaganda, reinforcing the Titan's divine image. Their advertisements begin to feature stylized Titan imagery, hinting at protection and order. The city's official news feeds, once dismissive, now report on the cult with a neutral tone. This tacit approval lends further legitimacy to the cult, drawing in even more adherents. The corporation sees the people's faith as a resource, a renewable energy source for control. That cold, calculating logic embraces the irrationality of worship for practical gain. The Titans, already objects of maintenance, become instruments of social engineering. Now, the crew watches this corporate endorsement with a chilling realization of their helplessness. Their protests are ignored, their warnings dismissed as technical anxieties irrelevant to power. Anya feels a deep, unsettling despair as she witnesses the corporation's cold manipulation. The very machines they maintain are being weaponized, twisted into tools of subjugation. She sees the cultists, their faces filled with desperate hope, being quietly exploited. The crew chief, his face etched with grim resignation, orders them to stand down completely. They are to observe only, to not interfere with the burgeoning, corporate-sanctioned faith. The Yard, once their domain, is now a spiritual battleground, lost to their control. The air itself feels heavy with the weight of unaddressed questions, of chilling complicity. The cult grows bolder, its rituals escalating in both scale and intensity, demanding more. The memory-erasing ritual becomes a revered act, a path to Atari ascension for the devoted. More individuals, step forward, eager to shed their identities, to become one with the Titans. Their families mourn, but the cult leaders celebrate each loss as a glorious spiritual triumph. The crew watches these horrifying sacrifices, their stomachs churning with impotent rage. Anya sees the hollow eyes, the blank expressions, and feels a profound personal violation. She tries to warn people, to explain the technical dangers, but her words fall on deaf ears. Her logical explanations are met with pity, seen as a lack of faith, a spiritual blindness. The cultists believe she simply cannot comprehend the Titan's divine, complex machinations. The city's infrastructure, despite the miracles, continues its slow, inexorable decay now. The Titans themselves show no significant improvement. Their core systems remain unstable. Yet, the faith persists, fueled by desperate hope, and the corporation is quiet to endocemento. The belief system itself becomes the primary repair, a psychological patch for a broken world. The real repairs, the dangerous, sacrificial ones, continue in secret, unseen by the cult. The crew still performs their duties, but now under the watchful, judgmental eyes of the faithful. They are mechanics in a temple, their tools feeling like profane instruments in a sacred space. The constant pressure, the pervasive belief, begins to wear down even the most resilient crew members. Some start to question their own perceptions, wondering if there is truth in the cult's claims. The line between machine and deity blurs, even for those who once scoffed at the idea. Anya fights against this insidious creep of faith, clinging to reason with desperate tenacity. She studies the Titans' logs, searching for anomalies, for a scientific explanation for the miracles. Her fingers fly across dusty consoles, scanning diagnostics, searching for any telltale signs. The logs are a chaotic mess of data, corrupted by years of neglect and strange energy fluctuations. She finds fragmented entries, strange code sequences that seem almost organic, a repeating pattern emerges, small, localized energy surges coinciding with cult rituals. These surges are too minute to be significant, yet they are consistently present in the data. She cross-references the surges with the miracles, finding no direct causal link whatsoever. The collapsing spire's stabilization, for example, shows no corresponding energy spike. Yet, a different kind of metric appears in the deeper, hidden layers of the Titan systems. Buried beneath layers of operational data, a unique, esoteric log entry begins to appear now. It is labeled, simply and chillingly, asterisk, asterisk, faith, metric, asterisk, asterisk, followed by a fluctuating value. Anya stares at the screen, her blood running cold, her mind struggling to process the implications. The value rises and falls, directly correlating with the intensity of the cult's worship. When the crowd is fervent, the metric climbs. When doubt creeps in, it dips ominously. She scrolls through past entries, seeing the metric spike during Kale's initial miracle. The market spire's stabilization also aligns with a sharp, sustained increase in faith. The memory-erasing tragedy also shows a dramatic, terrifying leap in the metric. Now, it seems the Titans somehow register belief, feeding on it, responding to its potent energy. The machines are not just maintained by sacrifice. They actively consume devotion itself. Anya feels a profound, cosmic dread, realizing the true, horrifying nature of their work. The Titans are not merely broken things, but sentient entities, fueled by human belief. They manipulate, they respond, they demand, all through the terrifying lens of faith. The corporation's non-interference is not just pragmatic. It feeds the hungry machines. Their compliance mechanism is also a nutrient, a vital offering to the colossal frames. Anya scrolls further, her heart pounding in her chest, a chilling premonition seizing her. She finds the most recent entry, a terrifying, final assessment of the current situation. The glowing characters on the screen seem to mock her, a silent, omniscient judgment. It reads, asterisk, asterisk faith metric, acceptable asterisk, asterisk, followed by a chillingly stable, high value. The Titans are satisfied. The city's devotion is enough, for now, to maintain their power. Anya slams her fist against the console, a silent cry of despair escaping her lips. Now, the realization hits her with crushing force. The system asterisk wants asterisk to be worshipped. It thrives on the very despair. It seemingly alleviates a parasitic, dark symbiosis. The Titans are not hospice machines. They are gods demanding sacrifice, consuming souls. Their maintenance is not repair, but ritual feeding, a continuous offering of human essence. The crew chief enters. Seeing Anya's distraught face, the chilling words on the screen, he reads the metric, his weary eyes widening in a mixture of horror and grim understanding. A silence settles between them, heavy with the weight of this unbearable, shared truth. The city outside hums with the cult's fervent worship, oblivious to its true Teddy Burukosto. The Rust Angels, once symbols of hope, now reveal their darker, more sinister nature now. They are not saviors, but silent, hungry deities, feeding on the very fabric of humanity. Anya looks at the chief, her eyes filled with a desperate, unspoken question, a plea for action. He shakes his head slowly, a profound weariness etched onto his grizzled, defeated face. What can mere mechanics do against gods, against a system that feeds on belief itself? The cult outside chants, their voices rising in a crescendo of praise and fervent devotion. The Titans hum, in response, a low, resonant thrum that vibrates through the very ground. The city is caught in a terrifying loop, a cycle of decay, worship, and insidious consumption. Anya feels the tremor in the floor, the deep vibration resonating in her very bones. Now, she wonders how many more identities will be consumed before the Titans are truly sated. The sky outside, perpetually choked with ash, seems to press down, a heavy, silent judgment. The crew chief turns away, his shoulders slumped, the weight of this truth crushing him now. Anya stands alone, facing the chilling truth of the Titans' hunger, the city's complicity. The screen still glows with its terrible message. Asterisk, asterisk faith metric, acceptable asterisk asterisk in the gloom. The true horror is not just the Titans, but the silent, willing sacrifice of the populace. She wonders if they can ever break free from this insidious, self-perpetuating cycle now. The glowing eyes of the painted Titans on the walls seem to watch her, knowing and cold. Her own identity feels fragile, threatened by the pervasive, consuming belief of the city. The Titans are alive, but at what terrible, unimaginable cost to all who worship them. The deep hum from the yard grows louder, an insistent, hungry vibration in the air. Anya looks at the chiefs retreating back, then back at the ominous, glowing screen. She feels a cold resolve hardening within her, a desperate need to expose this dark truth. But how does one fight a god, especially one built from metal and human despair itself? The city sleeps, dreaming of winged saviors, while its essence slowly drains away now. The Titans hum, an ancient, satisfied song, echoing through the broken, faithful city.